Okay, I've just done my firing for turn 5. So obviously initiative, firing, and then eventually we'll go on to the movement phase. Not too bad, firing, not great. A lot of my units are disordered, as you can see, which is a -1 for their shooting, or shaken, disordered or shaken for that one. So not great shooting, but not the worst either. Just a couple of casualties and a couple of disordered markers, same as there. Even had I've kind of wasted my first fire on this unit here, the Fusiliers, against this cavalry unit there. I class them as not clear simply because that unit's sort of obscuring them a little bit. So they had a -1 for that. They weren't disordered, so there wasn't a -1 for being disordered or anything. But even with their 5 dice, they only got a disordered marker because they managed to save the 6 that was rolled against them for the saving throw, for the morale throw. So on to my movement next on turn 5, and I shall try and readdress my ranks, I think, on this side. Because there's so many disordered markers, there's pretty much nothing else I can do on this side, so they're just going to have to stay where they are for now. So let's get the British Allies done for their turn 5 movement. So I've finished my movement for turn 5. Not a great deal, basically just been redressing my ranks a little bit. I managed to extract my cavalry a little bit by pulling them back, got some successful command rolls on those. No blunders this turn. And what I did was I put my shaken units at the back with my British units, the British Dragoons at the front, because the British Dragoons have got the counter-charge option as well. Actually, all the cavalry have got the counter-charge option. It's the French cavalry that don't have the counter-charge because they are, I'll just remember what they're called. I've got it on a piece of paper here. It is to do with the amendments. So let's have a look. They are called Cavalry, which means that they can deliver a closing fire, but they may not counter-charge. But they can charge as normal. So that's the advantages that, well, if you class it as an advantage, that the French and the Bavarians have. The advantage that the British Dragoons and the Dutch cavalry have is that they have ferocious charge, which I believe means they can re-roll one of their misses on a charge. So I pulled them back. I didn't have the option really, because I was moving them. I didn't have the option to rally them. I would have liked to have rallied one of them, but maybe on the next turn. And that's it for turn 5 for the British. So we shall hand over to the French and see how they want to progress on their turn. French shooting phase, not too bad. Not too bad for me. A couple of hits here and there. We've got another one on that unit there. This unit that has just come into play still got its first fire. Well, they got hit and a disorder. Same with this unit here, but not too bad. So he's done all his shooting. He actually only had, well, I'd say he only had it. He had this unit could fire. Those 2 units there. Those 2 frontline units there, and the guard unit there. So didn't do too bad with my hits, I think. Managed to save quite a lot. Only 2 disorder markers this time. Seem to be rolling a lot of 6s in this game. A lot of disorder markers. So don't know if that will change as we go on. So we'll move on to the French movement next of turn 5. French have done their movement now. So they've done their movement phase of turn 5. You can see there the Bavarians are starting to move along the road here. Obviously hoping maybe to hit me in the flank here, or get more of a stronger force in the centre of his position. Some good movement on his cavalry. That one there was his last move, his last order for that brigade commander, and he did a rally order. They were disordered there, so he couldn't do anything with those. He did a charge with his dragoons, and supported by the Bavarian heavy cavalry. And the British actually did a counter charge this time. Both units managed to get a counter charge, so we will do a melee action on them next. I'm going to check about the shaken units. I don't think they can class as supports if they're shaken. I'm pretty sure that's right, but I'll double check it. So we're going to have a combat here, and we've got a bit of movement now going on towards the centre. Thought the Bavarians, to be honest, they might have tried and swung around this flank, but looks like they're now concentrating on the centre. So let's get the big cavalry bash again over here on the flank. See what the result of that is at the end of turn 5. Okay, so we completed the melee and it went my way. So the advantage of the British Dragoons is the ferocious charge, which gives them a reroll on misses, which came in handy. And obviously they add counter charges, so they get the charge bonus as well. Didn't break any of the French and, well, just French units actually, French Dragoons. Didn't break any of them, but caused casualties and won the melee, which meant they had to retire because they both got a break test where they had to retire one full move. So just left right in front of my units is the Bavarian Heavy Cavalry. So it's my turn now, turn 6, British allies. So we'll see what we can do. I'm feeling a bit more confident, although my cavalry are in a bit of a poor state. Remember, these are all small units, so they're all at the oh, actually, it's a broken brigade, isn't it? So that cavalry clash didn't go my way because I've got 4 units there of part of the brigade, and over half, because we do it as, I know you can do it as half, or a lot of people do it over half the units. Over half my units are now above their stamina rating of 2 because they're small units. So I was confident. I thought I was doing okay, and then obviously no, I'm not. So they are now broken. I'm just going to quickly read up on the rules on the broken brigades. It won't affect the rest of the army, I don't think, because I haven't got any other broken brigades. So it's just a 1 broken brigade, and they have to, I think they have to retire. Or make their way off the table, or I'll read the rules and find out what they have to do. I'm just checking now because I missed that. I'm just checking on the French. No, unfortunately not. Just the one at its stamina level of 2. So oh well. Okay. So let's deal with that. I'll check the rules and see what this little cavalry brigade needs to do. So maybe they won't be taking part in any more fighting. Let's have a look. Okay, so I checked the rules and it was as bad as I thought it might be. So that brigade, because all the units were within 12 inch of an enemy unit, they had to retire 1 full move, and possibly off the table if that's what it meant, and it did. So that's left a big gap on my right hand flank now. I'm not massively concerned. I am, obviously didn't like losing my cavalry like that, but I've still got these are still pretty solid. No casualties. So as long as they don't get a disorder marker, then the cavalry can't touch them unless they get around the flank. So I'm going to have to definitely do some movement to protect my guns here, and also to prevent a flank charge from these remaining French cavalry, and maybe as well try and shoot them up a little bit and whittle them down. So we've lost our cavalry, but it's not over. It's not over yet. We're still confident we can turn this around. Please turn around. But we'll see. It's my turn now. So I've got my shooting phase. Initiative, which that was part of it, taking those units off. And then I've got my my shooting phase and then my movement phase. So what to do? Secure this flank, I think, and yeah, we've got shooting phase first. So I'm going to see how that develops before I make a decision on the centre and the left. So let's move on to that. So I've done my shooting. Bit of a tale of 2 sides really. This side, some good shooting, lots of casualties. So we got that's now got 2 in the disorders on it. broke that unit there, which is one of the Irish battalions. They failed their break test after getting, I think they had 5 casualties altogether. Just disorder marker on that one, and I think it was 1 casualty on that one there. But not so good on this side. 2 hits on this unit here, but no casualties. No hits on this battalion here, the Fusiliers, that were shooting at the light dragoons there. Class them as light, well, they are light dragoons, I suppose. And the artillery, even though they're at medium range, both artillery failed to get any hits. It's a shame because it would have been a -2 on the. I think it's -2, it's -2, or -1 or -2. I can't remember. It didn't matter anyway because they never got any hits. But I was hoping to take advantage of how close this cavalry unit here was. So not great on this side, not so bad on the other side. So it puts me in a bit of a dilemma for my movement now. I am tempted, because I'm doing so well on this side, is to push forward. But because of what's happened on this side, I don't know if that's a good idea. So I'll have a quick think about it, and then I shall do the British movement. Finished the Allies movement phase, and not a great deal again. A mixture of failed command rolls and even a blunder in there yet again. So I think that's my 3rd of the game so far. Thankfully it wasn't too bad, as it didn't affect me too much. It was just a retreat on this unit here, which is kind of what I was thinking anyway, to try and bring this line back. But then obviously these 2 couldn't move because the brigade commander had failed. So I did a re-roll with the commander, and they still failed again anyway. So well, I did the commanders, the commander-in-chief's roll to attempt to roll these, which I believe you can do if somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but if the brigade commander on his first, let's say for this instance it was his first unit he was moving, he rolled a blunder, which means that commander there cannot do any other unit, but your commander-in-chief can move units. Once all the brigade commanders are gone, the commander-in-chief can attempt to make moves, or to move units. It doesn't really matter because he failed anyway, but I think that's right. I think that's what the rules are. So yeah, nothing much really. Pretty static. I did consider, well, be honest, I was going to charge these in. I was going to go Guts or Glory, but the first unit failed, so that brigade was obviously couldn't give any more. That brigade commander couldn't give any more orders, so that was the end of that. And this brigade here, I've already got 1 disordered here, and 1 shaken as well back here. So not a good idea to try and push them forward with just these two battalions. So we are going to go on to no combat no melee this turn. So we're going to move on to the French turn. I'm going to say turn 5. We're on turn 6 now. No, turn 6. I'm sure it is. I'll double check that. But yeah, it's the French turn now. The French Bavarians. So see what they're going to do with their little Bavarian brigade that's popping off down the road towards me. Okay, let's see. French Bavarians have completed their shooting phase. It was brutal, to be honest, for me. They got some very good volleys off. So my Dutch brigade here, I've got to do a break test yet for this one here, because it's just 1 over its stamina. But all along the line we got hits. So some good shooting from them. So I'll do the break test, and then the French player can then move on to his movement, and he might actually do what I was suggesting I was going to do on this side. So we'll do the break test, and we shall see what happens. Okay, very aggressive from the French this turn. So they've done did their firing obviously before, and now they've just done their movement, and a lot of movement it was. So they basically, well, as you can see, they've charged forward. I did get closing fire, but fortunately, for the one time that I really needed my my volleys to impact, they didn't. I got a few hits here and there, but nothing like what I needed to stop them. So they've all gone into contact here. A couple of supports, and they couldn't move because they were disordered, so they can't get any support off them. They couldn't move because they were disordered. But pretty much all the others successful command rolls and limited closing fire from my troops. Same with this on this side with Bavarians. Both these Bavarian units got into contact. I did get a couple of casualties on these, so that'll help. And all that he did with his cavalry was just redress them basically. So they are stuck on my flank at the moment, looking a bit menacing. So we're going to do the combat now in the melee. So I think this will have a big impact now to how this turns out. So we'll do that, and then we'll see what the developments are after the melee. Okay, so we've just done the combat, and I suspected this was going to be a pivotal moment in the battle, and so it proved to be. Started off for myself really well. Managed to break a French Guard battalion that had attacked this Dutch battalion here in combat. So we started off well, but unfortunately it just went downhill from there. Didn't win a single combat after that. Not only that, terrible rolls on my break tests. For the failed combats, and the casualties that I got inflicted were just horrendous. They have a +1 for charging, so I had the choice when they charged. I could counter charge, which I believe you can do even though they're infantry, or I can do closing fire. I chose closing fire because I thought I might decimate them with my volleys. Didn't turn out that way, so they got the charge bonus, and that charge bonus sure made a difference. So as you can see here, these were my lines of infantry, but are there no longer. So unit broke there, unit broke there, unit broke there. Actually, the unit that was there is actually there because it retired. It didn't break, but stamina has reached its stamina point there as well. As well as this one. Sorry, it was this unit that came. I wonder why that unit didn't have a disorder mark on it. It was this unit that had to retreat. So same again with the Bavarians side of it. He broke the unit here, which was the Fusiliers. He managed to get 3 stamina on this unit, although they did stay. They did a successful break test. But that is now, because it was a small brigade, it had three battalions. One battalion's broken, one battalion's reached its stamina, so that is now a broken brigade. Same again here, broken brigade, because one's gone and 2 have reached their stamina. So that is, including the cavalry brigade, that is 3 brigades out of my 5 brigades that are now broken, which means army retreat. Yes, not a lot I can do really. It was very aggressive from the French, very successful in their charges. At the pivotal moment, my volleys let me down. So there's not a lot I could do about it after my volleys failed. Well, obviously I could have, I still had a chance. It was pretty even, apart from the fact he had more supports. But yeah, not good in combat. Lots of losses for me, and there's no way around it now. With 3 brigades broken out of the 5 brigades, then that is a army retreat for me. So unfortunately, this campaign will end with a loss. This battle will end with a loss for my British troops, or British Allied, British Dutch, and the overall campaign is a 3-1 victory for the French and Bavarians. So that is it. Hope you enjoyed. I did. It was very brutal at the end. Seemed a bit. It was quite slow paced when it was just we were standing off from each other and just volley after volley after volley, plucking away a little bit. I sort of was doing better on the volleys up to the last turn, and then I think that's what made him decide to just go for it, basically, because he'd done such a successful volley on his shooting phase that he then decided to go in with the charge, and what a successful charge it was. So casualty wise, what are we looking at? We're probably looking at I've broken, if I don't count the ones that have reached their stamina, broken, I think I lost 1, 2, 3, 4 infantry battalions. He lost 2 infantry battalions, but a lot more of mine have reached their stamina than he. What the ones that have reached his the stamina on his forces. So I would say it was an overwhelming success, and he still has his cavalry on the field. Obviously, you know, they're still there. So that's it. Anyway, that's all for now. So take care, everyone, and speak soon.